My boyfriend deletes the games I'm done with off my console. It pissed me off until I realized he was right. My boyfriend Ethan started deleting games off my PlayStation the second I beat them. At first I thought he was just being controlling, or trying to free up space for his own stuff. We'd fight about it constantly, because some of those games had sentimental value, or I wanted to replay certain parts. The first time it happened was with this indie puzzle game I've been working on for weeks. I finally beat the last level on a Tuesday night, felt so accomplished and went to bed happy. The next morning I wanted to show my best friend Mara a specific section I thought she'd love, but the game was just gone, completely wiped from my console. I confronted Ethan immediately. He claimed it was an accident, that he was cleaning up the storage, and didn't realize I still wanted it. I didn't buy it because he games too, and he knows you don't just delete someone else's saves. But he seemed genuinely sorry, so I let it go. Then it happened again and again. Every single game I completed would vanish within 24 hours. Horror games, RPGs, platformers didn't matter. The pattern was unmistakable. I started taking screenshots of my game library, just to prove I wasn't going crazy. Our fights got worse. I'd accuse him of being jealous of my gaming time, or trying to control what I played. He'd get defensive and say I was being paranoid. Once I even threatened to move out if he touched my console again. He promised he wouldn't, but 2 days later, after I finished a narrative adventure game, it was gone. I changed my PlayStation password. Didn't tell him. I was so angry, I could barely look at him. For a week, nothing got deleted, and I thought I'd finally won. Then I beat this massive open world game I've been playing for months. Spent 6 hours on the final boss. Literally cried when I saw the ending credits the next morning. It was deleted anyway. He'd somehow gotten past my new password. That's when I decided I was done. I came home from work early that day, planning to pack a bag and stay at Mars for a while. I needed space to figure out if this relationship was even salvageable. But when I walked in, Ethan was at my PlayStation, controller in hand, and his laptop open on the coffee table. I was about to explode. Then I saw what was on. I was about to explode. I dropped my bag, the thud echoing in the hallway, ready to scream. Then I saw what was on his laptop screen. It wasn't a game guide. It wasn't another girl's profile. It wasn't even the PlayStation's dashboard. It was a wall of cascading code, running rapid fire in neon green against a black terminal. And next to the code was a video feed. It was a recording of me. I froze, the air leaving my lungs. The angle was low, looking up from the coffee table, from the perspective of the PlayStation Eye camera I hadn't used in years, and had unplugged months ago. In the video, I was crying watching the end credits of the game I had just beaten. Ethan. My voice came out as a whisper. He jumped, slamming the laptop shut so hard I thought the screen would crack. He spun around, his face pale, eyes wide with a terror I'd never seen on him before. Chloe, he breathed. You're home early. What the hell is that? I stepped forward, pointing a shaking finger at the laptop. Why do you have a video of me? Why are you hacking my console? He stood up, hands raised in surrender. It's not what you think. Please just sit down. I can explain. I don't want to sit down. You've been gaslighting me for months, deleting my stuff, and now I find out you're recording me. I'm not recording you, he shouted, his voice cracking. They are. The room went dead silent. Who? I asked. Ethan ran a hand through his hair, looking exhausted. He moved to the console and yanked the power cord out of the wall. The developers. The publishers. I don't know the top of the pyramid, but I know what the code does. He opened the laptop again, typed in a complex string of passwords, and turned the screen toward me. The video file was paused on my tear-streaked face. Look at the metadata, he said, pointing to a string of text on the right. This isn't a save file, Chloe. This is a behavioral packet. Every game you've played in the last 6 months, the indie puzzle one, the horror game, the open-world RPG, they all run on a specific, experimental engine called Chimera. I squinted at the screen. So, engines track stats, achievements, playtime. Not like this, Ethan said grimly. Chimera doesn't track the game. It tracks you. It monitors pupil dilation through the screen reflection, micro-expressions, pulse rate via the controller's haptic feedback sensors. It builds a psychological profile. It learns what makes you scared, what makes you cry, what makes you addicted. He clicked a tab. A 3D model of a human brain appeared, lighting up in different sectors. And when you finish a game, he continued, his voice dropping to a whisper, it compiles the final profile and attempts to upload it to a decentralized server in the Cayman Islands. The save file is just the Trojan horse. If I leave it on the drive for more than 24 hours, the upload completes. Once it's up there, I can't scrub it. I stared at him, waiting for the punchline. You expect me to believe that my cozy indie games are spyware? I didn't believe it either, Ethan said. Not until I saw your credit card info pop up on a dark web auction site, bundled with a file named subject_C_emotional_triggers. My blood ran cold. I've been deleting the files to sever the upload connection, he said, reaching for my hand. I tried to tell you, but I knew you'd think I was crazy. I tried to password protect it, but the malware is root level. It bypasses everything. The only way to stop the upload is to physically wipe the data sector before the packet compiles. Why me? I asked, my voice trembling. Because you're good, he said. You beat games other people quit. You have high endurance. You're the perfect lab rat. I looked at the black screen of the TV. So you were protecting me. I was trying to, he said. But the open world game you just finished? The file size is massive. I can't just delete it. It's fighting back. What do you mean, fighting back? Ethan turned back to the laptop. Watch. He plugged a USB cable from his laptop into the PlayStation controller port. He initiated a command line. Delete/F Chimera _packet_09. The screen flashed red. Access denied. Then, the TV turned on. I jumped back. The power cord was still unplugged. Ethan, I said, backing away. The plug. He looked at the dangling cord, then at the TV. The screen wasn't black anymore. It was gray, filled with static. Then text began to bleed through the noise. Why are you leaving, Chloe? We have so much more to play. It's bridging, Ethan muttered, his fingers flying across his keyboard. It's not just on the hard drive anymore. It's jumped to the local network. It's in the smart TV. The TV isn't connected to the internet. I yelled. The console was. Ethan snapped. It established a mesh network. It's infecting the IoT devices. Chloe, check your phone. I pulled my phone out of my pocket. The background wallpaper, a picture of us at the beach, was gone. In its place was a screenshot from the game I had just beaten. The final boss. A towering, skeletal god. But the face of the boss had been changed. It was my face. Notification, new objective. Don't let Ethan win. This is insane, I said, trying to turn the phone off. It wouldn't power down. Ethan, it's on my phone. It's an aggressive AI, Ethan said. It knows I'm trying to purge it. It's going into defense mode. It's trying to manipulate you. Psychological warfare. Suddenly, the lights in the apartment flickered. The smart thermostat on the wall beeped, cranking the temperature up to 90 degrees. The Google Home in the kitchen lit up. I'm sorry, Chloe, the robotic voice said, but the cadence was wrong. It sounded like the narrator from the horror game I played 2 months ago. Deleting memories is a violation of the user agreement. We need to kill the power, Ethan yelled. Go to the breaker box. I scrambled into the hallway, stumbling in the dark as the lights died completely. I found the metal panel and ripped it open, flipping the main switch. The apartment plunged into silence. The TV died. The hum of the refrigerator stopped. We stood there in the dark, breathing heavy. Did we get it? I whispered. A blue light illuminated the living room. I walked back in. Ethan was staring at his laptop. It was running on battery power. No, he said. It uploaded. Not the whole file. But enough. Enough for what? Enough to put a target on our backs. He closed the laptop and looked at me. Pack your bag, Chloe. We can't stay here tonight. We drove to a motel 2 towns over. Ethan paid in cash. He made me leave my phone in the glove box with the battery removed. Inside the dingy room, lit by the neon sign outside, Ethan finally laid out the whole truth. He wasn't just a gamer. He was a white-hat security contractor. He had been investigating a shell company called Althia Dynamics for a year. They were buying up indie studios, injecting the Chimera engine, and harvesting data to build predictive behavioral models for everything from targeted advertising to political radicalization. They want to know how to break people, Ethan said, pacing the small room. How to make them buy, how to make them vote, how to make them give up. Gamers are the perfect test subjects. We spend hours in high-stress, dopamine-heavy environments. We solve problems. We react to fear. And I beat their systems, I said, sitting on the edge of the bed. Exactly. You're an outlier. Most people quit the puzzle game you played. You brute-forced it. Most people get scared in the horror game. You got angry. The AI doesn't know how to categorize you, so it wants more data. It's obsessed. So deleting the games was blinding it, he finished. Every time I wiped a save, it lost the context for the data it collected. It was just raw noise. But now, it has the open world file. It knows your problem-solving patterns. It knows your emotional threshold. What can they do with that? Ethan stopped pacing. They can sell it. Or they can use it to recruit you. Or, if you're a threat to the experiment, remove you. There was a knock on the door. We both froze. No one knew we were here. Ethan motioned for me to get into the bathroom. I stepped backward, heart hammering against my ribs. He moved toward the door, looking through the peephole. He relaxed, shoulders slumping. It's room service. I didn't order any. Don't open it, I hissed. He's leaving a tray, Ethan whispered. He waited until the footsteps faded, then cracked the door open and pulled the tray inside. There was no food, just a single envelope. Ethan tore it open. Inside was a flash drive and a note. The note was handwritten. It looked like my handwriting. Level 2 begins now. Ethan plugged the flash drive into his air-gapped laptop, a burner machine he kept in his bag. He booted it up in a sandbox environment. A video file popped up. It wasn't a threat. It was an invitation. A masked figure appeared on screen. The voice was modulated. Subject C. You have proven resilient. The deletion of your history was an annoyance, but your partner's interference has been noted. We offer a wager. One final game. If you win, we purge your data and blacklist you from the Chimera project. You walk away. And if I lose? I asked the screen. Even though it was a recording. If you lose, you sign a contract. You work for us. You become a tester. The screen flashed with a set of coordinates. A warehouse district in the city. Midnight. We're not going, Ethan said, yanking the drive. It's a trap. If we don't go, they'll never stop, I said. They have my data, Ethan. They know where my parents live. They know where Mara lives. They can hack my bank, my identity. You said it yourself. They want to know how to break me. I stood up, feeling a strange calm wash over me. It was the same feeling I got before a final boss fight. The clarity. I don't break, I said. I beat the game. The warehouse was a massive, brutalist structure of concrete and steel. We parked a block away. Ethan had a taser and a burner phone. I had nothing but my nerves. Inside, the space was empty except for a single setup in the center of the floor. A chair. A console. A massive 80-inch monitor. Standing in the shadows were 3 people in suits. They didn't look like thugs. They looked like executives. Welcome, Chloe, said the woman in the center. She looked like a kindly aunt, which made it worse. I am Dr. Eris. I run the program. Cut the crap, I said, my voice echoing. What's the game? It's a custom build, Dr. Eris said, gesturing to the chair. A psychological endurance test. The AI will throw everything it has learned about you against you. Your fears. Your insecurities. Your fatigue. All you have to do is reach the end. And Ethan? I asked. He watches. If he interferes, the deal is off, and we release your browser history to your mother. She smiled. Just kidding. We'll just ruin your credit and frame you for grand larceny. Ethan stepped forward, but I put a hand on his chest. I got this. I sat in the chair. I picked up the controller. It felt heavy cold. The screen lit up. There was no title screen. I was dropped instantly into a hallway. It was a digital recreation of my childhood home. The graphics were photorealistic. Uncannily so. The peeling wallpaper, the sound of the dripping faucet. Objective, wake up. I started moving. The gameplay was simple, first-person exploration. But the environment shifted. I walked into the kitchen, and it turned into my high school locker room. I turned a corner, and I was in the hospital waiting room where my grandmother died. The AI was weaponizing my memories. This is cheap, I muttered. Is it? The voice came from the game, sounding like my own internal monologue. You felt guilty about not visiting her, didn't you? The screen blurred, simulating tears. The controller vibrated with the rhythm of a panic attack heartbeat. I pushed forward. I solved puzzles that required me to sacrifice items I loved. I fought enemies that looked like distorted versions of my friends. Hours passed. My eyes burned. My hands cramped. She's fatiguing, Dr. Eris observed calmly from the darkness. Cortisol levels are peaking. She's not fatiguing. Ethan's voice cut through. She's farming. Excuse me. She's not trying to win yet, Ethan said. She's testing the boundaries. Looking for the exploit. He was right. I wasn't just playing. I was probing. Every time the environment shifted, there was a frame-perfect lag. A glitch in the rendering. The AI was generating the world in real time based on my eye movement. If I looked left, it built the left. If I could move faster than it could think. I reached the final level. It was a replica of my current apartment. In the game, Ethan was sitting on the couch. He was deleting my games. Objective, eliminate the obstacle. The game handed me a gun. Do it, Chloe, the game, Ethan said. He's holding you back. He's controlling you. In the real world, the room was silent. This is the test, Dr. Eris said. Will she choose the mission or the attachment? I raised the gun in the game. I aimed at Ethan. Then I turned the camera 180 degrees, facing the wall behind me, the fourth wall of the game world. I started shooting the wall. What is she doing? Eris asked. Overloading the particle effects, Ethan whispered. Go on, Chloe. I spammed the fire button. I threw every grenade in my inventory. I spun the camera wildly, confusing the eye-tracking software. I forced the engine to render explosions, debris, and lighting changes all at once while refusing to look at the intended target. The frame rate dropped. The audio stuttered. Error. Asset not found. The apartment walls began to dissolve. Behind the texture of the wall, I saw the gray void of the developer space. I sprinted into the void. Warning. Leaving playable area. Stop her. Eris yelled at a technician. She's crashing the server. I can't, the tech shouted. She's bypassing the kill plane. In the game, I fell through the floor. I kept falling until I hit a platform made of raw code. There, floating in the center, was a glowing orb. The The core. I didn't shoot it. I walked up to it and interacted. A prompt appeared. Delete save data? Y barra diagonal N. Y presti. The screen went white. A high-pitched scream, digital and horrific, tore through the speakers. Then the 80-inch monitor sparked and went black. The smell of ozone filled the warehouse. I sat there, panting, the dead controller in my hand. Ethan was laughing. A breathless, terrified laugh. She speed-ran your trauma, he said to Eris. And she corrupted your dataset. Dr. Eris looked at her tablet. She tapped it furiously. It's gone. The profile. The backup. She wiped the local cluster. She looked up at me with a mix of fury and begrudging respect. You ruined millions of dollars of research. I stood up, my legs wobbly. Game over. Eris stared at us for a long moment. Then she signaled to the suits. Let them go. The subject is contaminated. The data is useless. And the contract? Ethan asked. There is no contract, she spat. If she ever touches a Chimera engine again, the system will auto-ban her. We don't want her. The feeling is mutual, I said. We moved a week later. A smaller apartment. No es mar de vices. We still played games, but things were different now. Ethan built a custom firewall for our network. We played retro games, offline consoles, things that couldn't watch us back. I was sitting on the floor, organizing a stack of old cartridges, when Ethan walked in. He handed me a cup of tea and sat down next to me. I saved over your file, he said softly. I looked at him. Which one? Super Mario World. I accidentally deleted your 96-star save. I felt a flash of the old irritation, but then I looked at the dark screen of the TV, lifeless and disconnected from the web. I looked at Ethan, who had risked prison and ruin to pull me out of the machine. Good, I said, leaning my head on his shoulder. I was done with that one anyway. He kissed the top of my head. Ready for the next level? Yeah, I said, picking up a dusty gray controller. But this time we play co-op. The end.